Here. Today we're going to go over the new news, which is the new patch update at 0.27.1. We're going to be looking at all the different ships that they have added into the game, because there are actually a decent amount of. Now, the first ship that we actually want to look at today is they added in a new starter ship. So if we come over to build the ships, we come over to starter, there is now a Model M. Now, a Model M gameplay, based on what if you look at it, my favorite one is the Model L, if you're actually looking at a recommendation of what you want to start with, if you're just starting the game. But the Model M is a mining ship. Now, this is not a combat ship, this is a mining ship. You can see right here, you have a mining laser and 2 storage bins. So if you want to just be a trader within Cosmoteer, you can pick up this Model M and go about and mine asteroids and take them back and complete those carrier type of quests. And if you just want to mine in this game, you can try to do that. Something that you can definitely attempt to do. The Model L is definitely a much better combat ship for the very first, if you're looking for something, a well balanced out combat ship, for my personal opinion. Another good ship. I think all the starter ships are actually really good, but just so you know, the Model M is a brand new ship that they added to it. The other thing that they also did as well is they balanced out the mining laser damage. It does less. Huge thrusters and engine rooms now no longer require tri-steel, and heavy lasers, large cannons, disruptors, and mining lasers now require hypercoils. So just some more changes for you, just so you be aware of. But you can go ahead and read the own patch notes if you want. The first ship we're going to go into is a combat ship, Monolith. So we have 3 new combat ships from Monolith. The first one we're looking at here today is called the Collider. Now, the Collider, as you can see right here, this is a ramming ship, it looks like. Lots of thrust. You can see 4 engine rooms, huge forward thrust, very tiny backward movement, but mainly meant to ram into each other. Very dangerous to run into, as well as it looks like it has 2 tractor beams, and those tractor beams are pulling. So they're not pushing you away, they're pulling. So not only is it ramming you, it's also ramming and pulling you with 2 tractor beams. So such a deadly ship to actually run into, called the Collider. In fact, it's so deadly when I'm actually even thinking about it. If I take this away, I actually want to see how this does versus. And for those that are, I know I announced the challenge for the validator, but I've already made changes to it significantly, but I just want to see how this does versus this. They are not the exact same cost. In fact, the validator is cheaper, and the Collider actually costs a tiny bit more with a tiny bit more crew. But what I'm interested to see here is how does the new Collider, which has 4 deck cannons, which is, again, the validator also has 4 deck cannons, but the difference is this one has 2 tractor beams, and the placement, I actually like the placement of these 3 factories and the way that this is placed. Just looking at it, this one stands a much better chance, the Collider, because of the way it's separated and organized. They already lost 1 deck cannon, and the chances of me losing a 2nd deck cannon, like this Collider, is even more dangerous just looking at it. And the tractor beams that pull, it's really hard to even get away. So it's always going to be in a very similar position. Anyways, we're going to speed this up a little bit. And exactly what I was thinking happened. Didn't even get to destroy 1 cannon. This is a very nice ship. I like it. Alright. Collider, that's the Collider. Very dangerous to run into if you were to run into it in the game. We'll go back to, not Cabal, we are on Monolith. Go back to Monolith, combat ships. The next ship we're looking at here is called the Project Dainsleif. All I'm going to say, out of all the missile boats that I've seen that the in-game creators make, this one is super movability, tons and tons of missiles, lots of point defenses, lots of shields, super dangerous to run into in the game. If you don't have the movement You can see it goes backwards really fast, it goes forwards really fast. It can do lots of things, and it has tons of point defenses and a lot of shields. I don't even know why I can't even see the shields. Did they make it so you can't even see where the shields are anymore? Or maybe they're just all layers stacked on top of each other so well. Okay, so this one I can see. This is what I was expecting to see. Like layer shields for the point defenses, layer shields for the large shields. This is a missile boat that's super deadly to run into. And the only other missile boat I actually want to face this one versus two. So I remember a design contest. I can't remember if it was January. It wasn't January. No, May. Here it is. Awful Tears. How does it stand versus Awful Tears? Now I know that this one costs less and has less crew. But what I want to see is, do these point defenses last versus all the Awful Tears, as well as the shields, which is looking like it does. And then Awful Tears, you can see it doesn't have any point defenses, and eventually with the movement and the point defenses and the shields, even though Awful Tears is good, Awful Tears doesn't fly anywhere near as fast. You can see right here it's going full thrust as it can, and this one's barely even using any thrust to go backwards. Like, it could fly so much faster backwards. And then this one does have a good amount of storage for missiles, but I truly think that if you just look at the density of missiles, you see all the missiles coming out from the back, from the sides. This one has a lot of missiles, but this one has even more missiles coming at you. And even more movement for cheaper and for less crew. This is my ideal missile boat. Whoever designed this one and built this one, mad props to them. I really like it. Because I'm thinking what's going to happen here. We're just going to speed this up by times 4, so you don't have to watch it all. Times 8 then. Pretty sure that the other one's not going to sustain any damage, as you can just see. No damage. All point defense is still up. Shields are up. It did eat away a lot of its storage, but you can see it still has enough to keep going, and it defeat the Awful Tears. That is a cool ship. If you're looking for a cool missile boat, I think that's a great starter for high tier, middle tier, high tier type of missile boat for good maneuverability. At least grab the template from it. All right, ZWIE Swalhander, probably another foreign language. I'm probably pronouncing and butchering the name. I apologize. All right, so in here we got 4 chain guns, 8 nukes, and 4 EMP in the back. Now, just the way the chain gun's designed right here, heavily protected, semi from the front and from the back. But what I don't like right here, as you see right here, is literally this piece of armor is only attached right here. And because you see how the chain guns are hitting, I honestly would think you should attach the armor right here. There and here, 2 points, 2 touch points. There's a small little tiny edit it would make. All you gotta do is do this. Tuk tuk. And then this armor, you see how this huge piece of armor just fell off? So like right here, if this little piece of frame falls off from there, then the whole piece of armor just falls off. Like this, see this one, I already lost both pieces of armor. Other than that, it's a cool design ship. It does have a lot of different weak points. You can easily get it from behind, flank right here, and get past this large shield and then blow up these engine rooms. But still, it's a cool design. Cool concept. I like the paint. Okay, that's it for Monolith combat ships. Let's move on to Cabal. Cabal has one other new combat ship. Oh, there's another thing in the notes as well. So if you look at a lot of combat ships, they also made a whole bunch of minor changes to them, so they're no longer the same. As well as this says, and let me just read this note: miscellaneous update to many existing ships and station stations, including adding empty storages to many combat ships. These empty storages will be used in upcoming mission types. So expect new mission types for the game, and also empty storage spaces for certain ships. I know this one doesn't have any, doesn't look like it, but some other combat ships will now have empty storage spaces for new mission types. So expect that to be coming in the game as well. That's pretty interesting and neat. Now this is a pretty interesting ship to run into near the beginning of the game because it's a very cheap ship, as you can see. 170 with 26 crew, double the MP, shields, and lasers. If you're a full energy ship with 2 EMP coming at you and the heavy lasers in the front and lots of shields, this ship can really cripple your ship or devastate it if you're just a pure energy ship. They haven't designed it so that you can withstand EMP coming at you. Because you can see right here, the EMP is disabling the ship in full from the shields and everything, and then they're hitting you in all different type of angles. So this is a neat beginner, beginning of the game type of ships that you would run into. Cabal also has now 3 new trade ships. The 3 new trade ships are this one, I can't pronounce that. Iglesias. Sorry for pronouncing it wrong. Love the outside paint. Swirly, swirly, fire, fire. Beautiful, cool, looks neat. Next ship that we have on the list that's a civilian trade ship is a Minister. Minister. And then we'll just pull in the other one because these are not combat ships. Monolith. Okay, more of that swirly swirl with a whole bunch of the inside. I like that. And this one also has that swirly sun design. Whoever did this paint right here, mad props to them. I don't even know how long it would take to do that, but this is beautiful painted, beautiful design. I like it. Yes, my son?
I need to make a picture down here because it's almost dead.
Okay.
Oh.
Cabal trade stations. Okay, Cabal has some more trade stations. Cabal trade stations has a medium, Cabal trade station 2, Cabal trade station number 2 is what it's called. And then we also have another space station as well, which is called a large Cabal trade station number 2. All right. Ooh, super sun-like design. But as a trade station, you see there's no weapons on this station at all. Just like this one probably doesn't have any weapons, but look at that paint. Even this is like a little teardrop within the fire. The time to take to paint this and make it look like it looks. Really beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful paint design. Art in itself. I love it. Very nicely designed to the developers, the person who made those. Okay, let's go into the next one. Now, this next section right here is 5 new Imperium combat ships. I am actually just looking at the amount of new Imperium and how Imperium is always super deadly. I am sure that these ships will be devastating to run into. And I can already tell just by looking at this one. Chain gun, chain gun, chain gun, chain gun, chain gun, and nukes in the back. Yes, it has a weak point in the back, but if you try to enter combat in front to front with this, you are going to run into some serious damage. Because there's no way to really block that amount of chain guns on top of nukes. So not just chain guns. These chain guns, they rip off and do tons of damage. And facing each other is not a true showcasing of what this can do. So let's actually back this one out. And let's go face it versus another Imperium ship. Let's take the next Imperium ship. The next Imperium ship that we have on here is called a Harpy. It looks like it costs a lot cheaper than this one by 139, but you can just see how much more it will do. Now the Harpy actually looks like a smaller version of this one. It's only got 4 chain guns and the nukes in the back. But this one has shields covering shields and shields. Where this one doesn't have shields and it just has straight up damage. But look at this. You have nukes. First you have the chain guns to rip off all your shields, do damage. And then you have these nukes to pound right on through. And then the chain guns, or you have the opposite. The nukes come in and do damage, and then the chain guns come in here and rip your ship apart. You don't want to face this ship face front to front in Imperium. I don't even think I would want to challenge this one in a front to front battle. This ship's going to do so much damage to you. You're going to want to get behind. But look at how much movement it has. It has a ton of thrusters and engine rooms. It can maneuver. Even though it's big, it has a lot of maneuverability. So trying to outmaneuver this ship as well, trying to get behind it, is also will be a challenge too, as it's firing on you. So really cool 2 new ships that they brought in for Imperium. Let's go into the next one. They have what we call as a Raven. Now in our Discord community channel, they mentioned putting in frames, and this is exactly what the idea concept is. So if a ship's gonna get stuck on your this side or this side, you build out a frame so that they can't get into your sideways and get locked in on your sides. And then deck cannons, and then also not just deck cannons, but 4 nukes. So 6 deck cannons, 4 nukes. Super, super deadly ship to run into at this cost range. And I think it's even a ramming ship, because you see how the boosters are constantly going forward. So it rams into you, has 6 deck cannons, so 3 on each side firing at you, and 4 nukes hitting you from all different sides. So devastating ship to run into, beautifully painted. I don't think I would want to run into this ship at the same cost range, because look at it, 922,000. This is not a fun ship to run into for Imperium, but a definitely deadly ship. I'm glad they added these new ships, because it definitely changes up the game a lot. The next one that they have here is Saladin? Sorry for pronouncing it wrong. Oh, here. This is a good way to showcase those two. Take the Saladin, take the Democulus, okay? One costs more, one has more crew, but watch the two. My money is on this ship. Okay? When you're looking at all this, you got the chain guns, you got the nukes. Even though the ship costs more, well, I got into a weird angle. But even still, look at this. The chain gun still devastated this other ship and took very minimum damage. This is such a deadly ship to run into. I would not want to run into this ship in a front-to-front battle. Anyways, we'll take a better look at the Saladin. The Saladin looks like it's an ion beam. It has 2 ion beams coming out of it. And then it has these disruptors. And it looks like, okay, here's a better way of probably looking at it. And it has a crisscross. But look at these chain guns. Look what there's no defense versus the shields just rips them apart like paper. Look at that. Such a deadly ship to run into. And Imperium has a whole bunch more like that too, so that would be interesting to run into ships like that. All right, the next ship that we come into is the Vajir's Valor. This looks like an interesting ship. Restart the battle. Go. Vajir's Valor. That's a bigger version of the other one with... Look at all these deck cannons. But the best part about taking an example from a ship like this is how do they have the deck cannons actually lined out. So if you're looking for how to place deck cannons, this is a good way to do it. Right? Factory, 2 storage, and then capacitor in the back, so you're not having a whole bunch of explosion points. And then literally blowing it up from all different angles. The weakest weak points are obviously these back parts right here with the shields. Blow past the shield, blow past the engine room, take out the command deck. And you can cripple the ship from behind. Although it look like it's heavily armored in the front and in the sides, because of these larger ones, it does have a max speed that's good, but it's a very slow ramp up. So it's easy to get behind a ship like this and flank it from the back and blow up these sides in the back. I mean, I say it's easy, but if you have all these deck cannons firing at you too, it can be deadly, as well as the nukes flying at you as well. Still, this is a cool tanky ship from front to front battle, but it does have weak points in the back, which I can see are clearly easily exposed. You blow up this, you blow up all this, and this whole thing just chain reacts with each other. Because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to do it. If I take this and I say explode, does it destroy the whole thing? Well, normally this would explode and take out as you're hitting it. There's the damage you're putting in. And it should blow up most of all the way back to the control room, which will cripple the ship and take it out. Okay. We have 6 new Imperium trade ships. That's interesting. So let's just pull them in side by side. We got the Siginus, and we have a, what we call it, Gannet. It's interesting that the trade ships are not the same color scheme as the combat ships, if you're taking note of that. In fact, they have their own color scheme in full. Well, they changed the lighting on the thrusters or something, so it looks different. Probably highlights with the paint job that they did. Very interesting. Alright, let's take and brand 2 more of these ones. They have something called a Gull. And they have another trade ship called Escua. A Gull and Escua. Okay, this civilian ship has weapons on it. And this one doesn't have any weapons on it. Still, beautifully painted, both of them. Take a look on the outside. This one I can actually see as a starter type of beginning. Obviously, it costs more than that because it's more than a beginning 65,000, but still pretty cool and neat. Okay, the next trace ship that we can do is called the Stinde. I can't even pronounce that one. And then they have what we call the Thalisage. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm really liking this paint design a lot. This one too, like these little pointy edges. Granted, these little pointy edges you can totally get caught on things, but it looks cool. Both of them. They look cool. That's neat. Alright, we got one new Imperium trade space station. The new Imperium trade space station is called the Small Imperium Trade Station number 3. Small Imperium Trade Station number 3. We'll just take a look at it. Ah, they totally don't fall in the same color scheme as the Imperium combat ships, which is the red. But it's a whole new one. I'm liking this head right here. This right here, I want to take this and put this on the head of my dragon ship. That, or maybe it's just a paint scheme. No, it's armor and paint scheme together. It looks neat. Because I can even see it looks like kind of little tiny eyes, and then the whole dragon type of thing. I don't know. Just a thought. We'll leave it open. Okay, the next one we want to go into is new Fringe combat ships. So the next Fringe combat ships we have is there's 4 of them. We got something called the Big Iron. Let's look at the Big Iron. Now this is something that I've not seen anybody do on this scale. You got railguns and you got deck cannons. Side by side. I like the placements of these shields. Shield, shield, shield. Layer stacking. And this is something you don't want to stay far away from and something you don't want to get too close to. That Don't even know what to say about it except I don't want to face it front to front. Let's take another ship. Let's just see what the next one is. The next one here is called the Brutalizer. Alright, Brutalizer. The Brutalizer, they're very similar, almost similar, 500,000 less, a little bit less crew. Now the Brutalizer looks like it's a mines. Chain guns, 4 chain guns in the middle. No, 6 chain guns in the middle, I apologize. And then 2 deck cannons in the back. Even this one right here, this Fringe ships, this is not what I would expect from Fringe. But I guess maybe I should expect it from Fringe. It always has these weird, interesting ship designs. I think the chain guns down the middle, on top of all these mines, and heavily armored. Yes, it has weak points in the back. But look at this front-to-front battle. Now this one, the big iron, once the big iron, when it looks like once these chain guns, if they keep firing, it's going to cut it right in half. This railgun one looks like it will be 2 separate ships because you have a bridge here and a bridge here. And right there. Exactly like I was thinking. And now the big iron becomes 2 separate ships with railguns still on them, with deck cannons still on them. And this is a deadly mix right here. Even if you cut the ship right in half, it's a deadly mix between itself. And it's 2 very interesting Fringe ships to be facing against. I'll be interested to face them in the game when I ever get to that. Alright, the next ones that we have here is called the Revenants. Revenants? I don't know how to pronounce that. Revenant. Alright, we got chain guns, we got flak batteries, and we got mines. All I'm going to say is running into mines on Grand Admiral does so much more damage than what it looks like here. Because you see how the mines explode? That does so much more damage. 60% more damage. It really can tear your ship apart by a lot. Lots of movement, chain guns, flat cannons. I think they're just not set on defense. So the ship is basically designed so it ignores any point defenses. Flat cannons you ignore, mines can't stop point defenses, and then chain guns can't stop them. So literally to hit through. And the only things that are actually that can be hit by point defenses are these deck cannons in the back. Look how it just obliterates. It'd be very interesting to encounter that in the game. I love the paint design as well. Alright, the next one that we have here is called the Rust Bloom. Rust Bloom. Okay, this is more of a cheaper ship, 89,000, 14 crew. Are these large? They're standard. So 4 standard cannons. Interesting placements. Definitely has weak points on the side and whatnot. Like if you were to face this, you just sideswipe it this way and take out the actual cockpit right there. And it'll be pretty easy win versus this one. They can salvage the ship or take over the ship. But it's a neat little Fringe ship. It's kind of cool. Alright, the next thing we have is we have 2 more new Fringe trade ships. So we'll come over here to trade ships. And we have Harmatin. Can't pronounce that. This is one I've never seen in the game because it's definitely different. I like the little lights on it. It highlights it. So if you're going to make little trade ships, it makes sense to put the little lights on them. And then highlight and paint it. So that's kind of I don't know why I put 2 of them in there. Then the next one we have here is called the Cabal. Okay, where did it go? Just a smaller version of that one. Looks kind of neat. That is definitely cool. They have added a lot more new features into the game. They have changed it up a lot, but I'm liking all these new additions that they added. Some other things that they added as well is they've increased the manipulator beam range from 200 to 450, and they did a bunch of other more changes as well, which iron prisms are that are targeting prisms of other friendly ships will no longer be blocked by their shields. Manipulator beams will stop, and basically more manipulator beam stuff balancing out, and a bunch of other things that changed for the clouds as well, which have been doing in Grand Admiral Engage. Alright, if you enjoyed this content, please feel free to hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. Helps to push out this content to other people, bring awareness to it. If you like, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, especially what you don't like so that I can improve and make better content. If you have not already, please feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay as well. Come back once a week, once a month. Check out what content I have. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. And you all have a wonderful rest of your day, or good evening if you're here in the US. Alright, thank you so much. Just wanted to end with this ship right here because this one takes the cake on all the new ships that they added. This is a ship I don't want to run into. Anyways, you all have a good rest of your day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.